This audiobook reveals the hidden law of attraction that governs your life, the mirror principle. Your reality is not random. It is a reflection of your inner world. The universe mirrors you with perfect precision, and the moment you see it, everything begins to change. The mirror principle. Introduction. Through countless ages, mystics and sages have whispered of a truth so fundamental, yet so carefully guarded, that its very existence has remained hidden from the masses. This truth, known as the mirror principle, stands as the cornerstone of creation itself, a divine law that governs the interplay between consciousness and reality. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, operates as a perfect mirror, reflecting with unwavering precision the contents of your inner world. Every thought you harbor, every emotion you nurture, every belief you hold sacred, all find their expression in the tapestry of your external reality. This is not mere philosophy or abstract theory, but rather the very mechanism through which creation manifests itself. As you venture deeper into these teachings, you will discover that you are not learning something new, but rather remembering what your soul has always known. The mirror principle reveals itself as the hidden force behind the law of attraction, the sacred bridge spanning the realm of pure potential and physical manifestation. Your current circumstances, whether abundant or lacking, joyful or challenging, are but reflections of your inner state of being. The universe, like a cosmic looking glass, cannot help but mirror back to you the essence of your consciousness. This understanding liberates you from the illusion of victimhood and reveals your true nature as a creator of reality. You stand now at the threshold of remembrance, preparing to reclaim your divine birthright. The power you seek has never left you. It has simply waited, dormant, for you to recognize it once more. Through these teachings, the veil of forgetfulness will lift, revealing the truth of your creative essence. This knowledge comes not as mere information to be stored, but as a flame of transformation that will illuminate the shadows of doubt and burn away the limitations of false belief. The journey before you is one of awakening to your true power, of remembering who you truly are. Part 1. Awakening to the Mirror. Chapter 1. The Moment You See. In a small village among rolling hills, Eleanor the clockmaker sat at her workbench, surrounded by timepieces that refused to tick. For 30 years, she had mended the village's clocks with precise dedication, yet lately, every repair seemed to unravel. The grandfather clock's pendulum would swing erratically, like her uncertain heart. The pocket watches would stop at random hours, mirroring her own feeling of being frozen in time. One morning, as sunlight filtered through dust-laden windows, Eleanor noticed something peculiar. The broken timepieces before her each bore a striking resemblance to aspects of her life that felt similarly askew. The watch with the cracked crystal reminded her of her fractured relationships. The clock with misaligned hands reflected her own sense of being out of sync with life's natural rhythm. This truth runs deeper than coincidence. The universe operates as a grand mirror, reflecting back the sum total of your inner state. What you perceive as external circumstances are but echoes of your internal condition. When you look upon your life, your relationships, your work, your home, your health, you are witnessing a perfect reflection of your consciousness. This mirror shows not only your conscious thoughts, but the complete vibration of your being, your deeply held beliefs, your emotional patterns, your sense of self-worth, all find expression in the world around you. The universe cannot help but reflect what you are, for this is the fundamental law of creation. Many spend their lives attempting to change their reflection while leaving the source unchanged. They chase external fixes, unaware that the power lies within. You need not manipulate the mirror. You need only transform what it reflects. As Eleanor began to understand this principle, she turned her attention inward. Instead of struggling with the broken timepieces, she examined her own sense of timing, rhythm, and flow. As her inner harmony restored, something magical occurred. The clocks in her workshop began to tick in perfect synchronicity, their hands moving with newfound grace. Her business flourished effortlessly, and the village sought her services with renewed appreciation. Your world exists as a reflection of your inner state. Each circumstance you encounter serves as a mirror, revealing truths about your consciousness that might otherwise remain hidden. When you discover something in your external world that feels misaligned, you have received an invitation to look within. Take your journal and pen. Create 2 columns on a blank page. In the first, list every aspect of your life that feels broken, stuck, or out of alignment. In the second column, explore the inner state these external conditions might be reflecting. What beliefs, emotions, or patterns within you correspond to these outer circumstances? Write without judgment, allowing the mirror to reveal its wisdom. Chapter 2. The Law Behind the Reflection. In the annals of sacred wisdom, there exists a tale of Walter, keeper of the northern light. Each evening, as darkness draped itself across the waters, he would climb the winding stairs to tend his eternal flame. At first he saw only the mechanical nature of his duty, the polishing of brass, the trimming of wicks, the filling of oil. Yet as seasons passed, he began to witness something extraordinary. On nights when his spirit soared with purpose, the beam cut through fog with supernatural clarity, and the waters beneath lay calm as glass. When doubt clouded his mind, the light seemed to dim, and the waves grew restless. Through this dance between inner state and outer reflection, Walter uncovered a truth as vast as the ocean itself. You see, the mirror principle operates with perfect precision, governing every aspect of existence. It is not merely a theory or philosophical construct. It is the very mechanism through which consciousness creates reality. Your outer world must, by divine law, reflect your inner state. This is not a punishment or reward, but the sacred architecture of creation itself. Just as Walter's lighthouse beam revealed the true nature of the waters, your consciousness illuminates the true nature of your reality. Every relationship you encounter, every circumstance you face, every opportunity that appears or disappears, all are reflecting the light you carry within. As Walter continued his nightly vigil, he made a discovery that transformed his understanding. The power never resided in the sea's response. It lived in the quality of attention he brought to his flame. When he tended it with reverence and purpose, the entire world seemed to align with his care. This revelation speaks to the heart of creation itself. You are not merely observing reality, you are illuminating it through the quality of your consciousness. The universe responds not to what you want, but to what you are. Like Walter's flame, your inner light shapes the very fabric of your experience. To integrate this wisdom, find a quiet moment and close your eyes. Envision your heart as a magnificent lighthouse, its beam reaching out across the vast ocean of existence. Feel the warmth and power of this inner flame. See how its light touches everything in your world, your relationships, your work, your dreams. Notice how the quality of your attention affects the brightness of this beam. This is not mere visualization. It is a remembrance of your true nature as a creator of reality. Chapter 3. You are the cause. In a small town where autumn leaves danced through quiet streets, there lived a teacher named Clara. Each morning she would enter her classroom with a familiar weight in her chest, a sense of dread that had followed her through 3 different schools. No matter where she taught, the same scene would unfold. Chaos would erupt, voices would rise, and control would slip through her fingers like water. You see, Clara carried within her an unspoken belief that she lacked the natural authority of a true teacher. This belief, though hidden from her conscious mind, radiated from her being like invisible waves, shaping the very reality she experienced. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, could only mirror back what she held within. This truth stands before you now. What you experience as external circumstances are but reflections of your inner state. The world is not happening to you. It is responding to you. This is not a burden of blame, but a key to liberation. For in understanding this principle, you reclaim your power as a conscious creator of your reality. When circumstances repeat themselves in your life, they are not random occurrences or cruel twists of fate. They are sacred messages, pointing to something within that seeks acknowledgement and transformation. Like Clara, you may find yourself facing the same challenges, the same types of relationships, the same obstacles, until you recognize their source in your own consciousness. One morning, Clara discovered an ancient text about the mirror principle. As she absorbed its wisdom, something shifted within her. She realized that her students were not the authors of her experience. She was. With this understanding, she began to carry herself differently. She no longer entered the classroom seeking control. She entered knowing she was the source of order and harmony. The transformation that followed seemed miraculous to those who didn't understand the law at work. Her classroom became a haven of engaged learning and mutual respect. The same students who had once tested her authority now responded to her newfound inner certainty. Nothing had changed in the external world, except everything had changed because Clara had changed. Now take a moment to examine your own life. What patterns keep repeating? What situations seem to follow you despite external changes? Take out your journal and write down one recurring pattern that has persisted in your life. Then, with gentle honesty, explore this question. What belief or self-concept within you might be creating the energetic blueprint for this experience? Remember, this exploration is not about fault. It is about reclaiming your divine power to choose what you will allow the universe to mirror back to you. Chapter 4. The Silent Projection. In a small town among rolling hills lived Harold, a portrait artist whose brush seemed to capture more than mere appearances. Each face he painted carried an unmistakable shadow of melancholy, though his subjects never posed with sorrow. Through some mysterious alchemy, their eyes in his portraits always held a distant pain, their smiles a touch of weariness. You see now what Harold could not, that the sadness he perceived was a reflection of his own inner state. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, was showing him his own heart through every canvas he touched. This is how the mirror principle works in the subtle realm of human connection. What you perceive in others is often what you carry within. Your thoughts and feelings are not confined within you. They radiate outward like invisible light, touching everything and everyone you encounter. This energy shapes your reality more powerfully than your words or actions ever could. When you walk into a room carrying grief, the universe arranges itself to match that frequency. When you move through life bearing joy, circumstances align to reflect that vibration. Harold's breakthrough came on a spring morning when he found an old self-portrait hidden in his studio. In that moment, he saw clearly the pain he had been carrying and projecting for so long. This recognition sparked a profound shift within him. As he began to heal his own heart, something remarkable occurred. his portraits transformed. The faces he painted now seemed to glow from within, their eyes bright with life, their expressions touched by an inner light. The universe was still mirroring Harold's inner state, but now it reflected back the healing and hope he had discovered within himself. His subjects hadn't changed. His perception had shifted because his energy had transformed. This truth stands before you. Your energy speaks louder than your words. The universe responds not to what you say you want, but to the vibration you maintain. Every interaction, every opportunity, every relationship is shaped by this silent broadcast from your inner being. Now find a quiet space and close your eyes. Let your awareness sink beneath the surface of your thoughts to the emotional current that runs through your days. What frequency are you broadcasting to the universe? Is it aligned with what you wish to receive? For the next day, choose consciously the energy you will carry. Whether it be peace, joy, or abundance, hold that frequency in your heart and watch as the world begins to mirror it back to you. Remember, you are not merely observing reality. You are creating it through the silent power of your energetic signature. Chapter 5. The Universe Has No Choice. In a bustling market town, Agnes sat at her workbench, fingers trembling as she pushed her needle through resistant fabric. Each stitch carried the weight of her anxiety, each design born from desperate need rather than creative fire. Night after night, she would present her work to merchants only to watch them turn away with polite dismissal. You must understand this truth. The universe holds no opinion about Agnes or her creations. It simply echoes back the energy she pours into every seam and hem. When fear guides the hand, fear returns in kind. When scarcity haunts the mind, scarcity appears in all directions. The mirror principle reveals that the universe operates with perfect precision, devoid of judgment or preference. It is a flawless reflection mechanism, responding to the vibration you emanate. Your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs create a specific frequency, and the universe, bound by divine law, must match that frequency in physical form. There came a morning when Agnes set aside her ledger of unpaid bills. Instead of forcing designs she thought would sell, she allowed her hands to flow with pure inspiration. Her needle danced across silk and wool, weaving patterns that emerged from joy alone. She had not changed her skill. She had changed her state of being. Within weeks, her workshop transformed. Customers appeared as if summoned by an unseen call. Her designs, now infused with authentic creativity, drew admiration and eager buyers. Agnes had not pushed or struggled or schemed. She had simply aligned her inner state with the essence of creation itself. This is the secret Agnes discovered. The universe requires no convincing. It asks only for clear instructions, delivered through the language of vibration. When you cease trying to control outcomes and instead cultivate the feeling of what you desire, the mirror responds with perfect accuracy. Practice. Each morning, find a quiet moment and repeat this ancient truth. The universe is not judging, it is reflecting. I command through vibration. Let these words sink deep into your consciousness. Feel their power not in your mind, but in your very being. This is not mere affirmation. It is a remembrance of your true relationship with the universal mirror. As you speak these words, allow your breath to slow and deepen. Notice how your entire body responds to this sacred knowing. The universe awaits your signal with infinite patience, ready to match your energetic frequency with perfect precision. When doubt arises, return to this practice. When fear clouds your vision, let these words clear your path. For in this simple ritual lies the key to mastery, not through force, but through the gentle art of alignment with universal law. Chapter 6. when the mirror breaks. In the heart of a bustling city, Frank moved through crowds with tension in his shoulders, scanning faces as if searching for hidden threats. Each day brought new conflicts, arguments with neighbors, disputes with shopkeepers, confrontations on busy streets. The universe was showing him something, yet he could not see past his defenses to read the message. You carry within you energetic patterns that the universe must honor and reflect. When Frank stepped into any situation, he brought with him the unresolved echoes of past battles. His inner war created outer conflict with unfailing precision. This was not punishment, it was a perfect reflection. The mirror principle operates with exquisite sensitivity, capturing every nuance of your inner state. What you perceive as an attack is actually alignment. What feels like persecution is pure reflection. The universe holds no agenda to harm or heal. It simply shows you what you hold within. One morning, as Frank stood before his bathroom mirror, something shifted. In his reflection, he saw not just his face, but the weight of all his carried burdens. Tears began to fall, not tears of weakness, but of release. As the walls around his heart softened, so too did the world around him. In the days that followed, Frank noticed subtle changes. The neighbor who once seemed hostile now nodded in greeting. The crowded subway no longer felt threatening. He had not changed his circumstances. He had changed his resonance. The mirror principle responded accordingly, reflecting back his newfound peace. This is the wisdom you must embrace. Resistance to what the mirror shows creates distortion in your experience. When you resist your reflection, you strengthen the very patterns you wish to change. The mirror principle cannot show you anything that is not already within you. It is an instrument of truth, not torment. Take your journal now and write, "What persistent challenges in my life are asking for healing? The broken reflections are inviting me to look deeper." Let your hand move across the page without judgment or hesitation. Pour forth your truth, knowing that each word brings you closer to understanding. The mirror never lies. It simply waits for you to read its message with open eyes and an honest heart. Trust that the reflections you see, even those that cause discomfort, are guideposts on your path to transformation. Your willingness to look deeply into these reflections is the first step toward profound change. Chapter 7. The Hidden Power of Perception. In a small village known for its artisanal breads, Lillian stood before her empty bakery each morning, watching potential customers pass by without a glance. Her shelves held the same recipes that once drew crowds in her grandmother's time, yet day after day misfortune seemed to find her. A dropped tray here, a failed batch there. Each incident reinforced her certainty that she was simply born under an unlucky star. The mirror principle reveals a truth so fundamental it often escapes notice. Your perception creates your reality. When you look upon the world through the lens of misfortune, the universe must, by divine law, arrange circumstances to match this vision. You do not experience what is, you experience who you are. Think of your consciousness as a filter through which all experience must pass. This filter, shaped by your beliefs and expectations, transforms pure possibility into specific reality. The universe holds no preference, it simply reflects back whatever filter you hold up to it. Your beliefs about luck, abundance, love, or success become the very lens through which these experiences must manifest. When Lillian finally understood this truth, she began a quiet experiment. Instead of bracing for daily disasters, she started each morning by touching her grandmother's rolling pin and whispering, "I am favored by fortune." At first it felt false, yet she persisted. Gradually, subtle shifts emerged. A food critic happened to stop by. A local magazine featured her story. Regular customers began returning, speaking of a new warmth in her bread that reminded them of childhood. Nothing in her recipes had changed. Her technique remained the same. What shifted was her inner lens, and the universe, being the perfect mirror it is, could only reflect this new vision back to her. This principle extends far beyond the walls of a bakery. It touches every aspect of your existence. You do not see the world as it is, you see it as you are. Your filters become your fate. Your expectations shape your experience. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, cannot give you anything that contradicts your deepest beliefs about what is possible. Practice. For the next 7 days, select one core belief you hold about the world. Perhaps good opportunities are rare, or success requires struggle. Write it down. Now write the opposite. I am surrounded by opportunities, or success flows to me with ease. Hold this new belief as if it were absolute truth. Watch how the universe begins to shift its reflection to match your new lens. Remember, you are not changing reality. You are changing the filter through which reality must express itself. Chapter 8. Belief is the blueprint. In the shadow of a cramped workshop, Edgar hunched over his latest invention, a device meant to harness the morning dew for pure drinking water. Like countless attempts before, this one too refused to function. His weathered hands trembled as he adjusted delicate mechanisms, each movement weighted by an inner certainty of failure. Perhaps, he whispered to himself, I am not meant to create. You must understand, the mirror principle operates through belief before action. Your beliefs are not mere thoughts floating in consciousness. They are the very templates from which your reality is cast. What you hold as true becomes the boundary of what the universe can reflect back to you. No amount of action can override the limitations set by your deepest convictions. When you declare I cannot, the universe must honor this decree. When you whisper it's not possible, creation itself bends to manifest this truth. This is not punishment, it is perfect law. The mirror principle cannot reflect what you refuse to believe possible. Edgar's transformation began not with a new invention, but with a new relationship to truth. One evening, gazing at his failed prototypes, he realized they were not evidence of his limitations. They were reflections of his beliefs. In that moment, he chose to hold a different truth. I am a channel for divine inspiration. The shift was subtle at first. Ideas flowed more freely. Solutions appeared in dreams. Then one morning, a merchant knocked on his door, seeking exactly the kind of innovation Edgar had been pursuing. The universe had not changed. Edgar's inner template had shifted, and reality reshaped itself accordingly. Your beliefs are not fixed laws. They are chosen perspectives. Each time you declare something impossible, you command the mirror principle to prove you right. Each time you embrace a new possibility, you give the universe permission to reflect that potential back to you. Practice. Take a moment now to examine your inner templates. Write down 3 beliefs that begin with I can't or it's impossible for me to. Next to each limitation, craft a new belief that opens the door to possibility. Do not concern yourself with how these new beliefs feel. Focus only on giving yourself permission to hold them. Remember, you are not trying to convince yourself. You are simply adjusting the template from which your reality will be cast. As you write these new beliefs, notice how your mind may resist them. This resistance is natural. It is the old template fighting to maintain its shape. Let this resistance flow through you without judgment. Know that each time you acknowledge a limiting belief and consciously choose to reshape it, You are participating in sacred alchemy. You are transmuting lead into gold, transforming barriers into bridges. Consider this exercise a daily meditation, a gentle communion with the infinite possibilities that await your permission to manifest. The universe stands ready to mirror back whatever template you choose to hold. Choose wisely, choose consciously, and above all, choose with the understanding that you are the architect of your own limitations and freedoms. Chapter 9. The Echo of Identity. In a dimly lit practice room, Doris sat before a grand piano, her fingers hovering above the keys. Though her soul yearned to play, she introduced herself to others as just someone who enjoys music. Each time an opportunity arose to perform, she would say, "I'm not really a pianist." The universe, bound by the sacred law of reflection, could only mirror back this declaration. The signal you send to the universe emanates not from your wishes or dreams, but from your deepest sense of self. When you say, "I want to be," the mirror can only reflect back wanting. When you declare, "I am," the universe must align with this truth. This is why mere positive thinking falls short. It attempts to override identity rather than transform it. Your current reality is not a measure of your potential. It is a reflection of who you believe yourself to be. The mirror principle responds not to your desires, but to your self-concept. You may wish for abundance while holding the identity of one who lacks. You may long for love while maintaining the self-image of one who is unworthy. The mirror cannot contradict your core beliefs about yourself. One evening, as Doris prepared to decline yet another invitation to perform, something within her shifted. Instead of her usual deflection, she spoke words that changed everything. "I am a musician," not "I want to be," not "I'm trying to become," but "I am." In that moment, she claimed her true identity, and the universe had no choice but to reflect this new truth. The next time she approached the piano, she was not a student attempting to prove herself. She was a musician expressing her art. Her fingers moved with certainty born not of practice, but of alignment with her authentic self. The audience did not witness someone trying to be. They experienced someone who already was. The mirror principle awaits your declaration. What identity are you currently broadcasting? What self-concept does your life reflect? Remember, you cannot attract experiences that contradict who you believe yourself to be. Sacred practice. Complete this declaration. I am. Follow it with statements that embody the identity of one who already possesses what you desire. Write as though you are already living as this version of yourself. Let your words carry the weight of absolute knowing. This is not an exercise in pretense. It is an alignment with truth that already exists within you. Speak these words with the quiet confidence of one who understands their inherent power. Allow each statement to resonate through your entire being, knowing that the universe responds not to what you wish to become, but to who you already are at your core. Make these declarations in moments of sacred solitude, when you can fully immerse yourself in their transformative energy. Your words are seeds planted in the fertile soil of consciousness. Water them with unwavering faith and watch as the universe conspires to match your inner knowing with outer manifestation. Remember, this practice is not about convincing yourself of something false, but rather about recognizing and claiming the divine potential that has always resided within you. Chapter 10. The Awakening Begins. In the heart of an ancient village, Samuel stood before his forge, watching the metal bend and transform beneath his steady hands. For years he had fought against life itself, cursing his circumstances, blaming his tools, resenting his trade. Yet now, as the flames danced before him, he saw what had always been true. The metal yielded not to force, but to understanding. You have walked through these teachings, absorbing each truth like morning dew. The mirror principle has revealed itself through every story, every lesson, every moment of recognition. Now you stand at the threshold of mastery, ready to witness the perfect reflection of your transformed consciousness. The universe operates through this immutable law. Your inner state creates your outer world. There is no separation between what you are and what you experience. Every circumstance, every encounter, every opportunity or challenge, all arise from the depths of your being. This is not theory but living truth, as real as the air you breathe. Samuel discovered this truth not through struggle but through surrender. As his inner turmoil melted away, so did the resistance in his life. His forge became a sanctuary, his work a meditation. Customers who once complained now praised his craftsmanship. Apprentices sought his guidance not because he demanded respect, but because he embodied wisdom. One day a frustrated merchant asked Samuel the secret to his peace. Samuel smiled and said, "I stopped trying to bend the world to my will and learned instead to align my will with truth. Now the metal teaches me, life guides me, and the universe mirrors my acceptance." This is the essence of the mirror principle, not a technique to master, but a truth to embody. As you integrate these teachings, you'll notice that transformation requires no force. Like Samuel, you're learning to move with the flow of divine reflection rather than against it. The practice of silent observation. For the next 24 hours, become a witness to your own reflection. Watch how each moment mirrors your inner state. Notice without judgment how your thoughts and feelings create ripples in the fabric of your reality. Let this observation become your teacher, showing you the perfect correlation between your inner and outer worlds. This is not about changing what you see. It is about understanding how it came to be. In this silent watching, you will discover the profound simplicity of the mirror principle. As within, so without, always. Like a still lake reflecting the sky above, your outer reality perfectly mirrors your inner state. When you truly grasp this eternal truth, you'll understand that every circumstance, every encounter, every seemingly random event carries the perfect reflection of your consciousness. This watchful silence becomes your greatest teacher, revealing the sacred dance between your inner world and its outer manifestation. Part 2. Aligning the Inner World. Chapter 11. Inner Alignment, Outer Shift. In a bustling marketplace, Marjorie threaded her needle with practiced grace, yet her shoulders carried an invisible weight. Though her craftsmanship drew praise, her clients haggled relentlessly over prices, treating her masterful work as common cloth. City after city, the pattern repeated. No matter where she traveled, those who sought her services seemed cut from the same cloth of scarcity and doubt. You must understand this truth. The universe responds not to your location, but to your vibration. Like Marjorie, you may travel far and wide, seeking external change while carrying the same inner frequency. But the mirror principle reveals that geography cannot outrun energy. When thought, emotion, belief, and identity align into a single clear note, the universe has no choice but to echo that harmony. This alignment is not about forcing yourself to think positive thoughts, while doubt gnaws at your heart. It is about allowing all aspects of your being to resonate with your authentic truth. For Marjorie, transformation began the moment she recognized her own worth. Not through affirmations alone, but through a deep inner knowing that radiated through every stitch, every interaction, every breath. Her prices reflected her value. Her posture spoke of inner certainty. Her work became not just tailoring, but art. And then, as naturally as dawn follows night, her world shifted. Nobles sought her craft, paying generously without question. Other artisans requested collaborations. Her reputation grew not through struggle, but through the natural expansion that follows inner alignment. Watch closely. Marjorie took the same actions as before, threading needles, measuring cloth, creating garments. But these actions now flowed from a place of alignment rather than fear. This is the difference between pushing against life and dancing with it. The mirror principle teaches that alignment precedes manifestation. When your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and sense of self unite in harmony, the outer world must, by universal law, reflect this unity. Sacred practice. Take your journal and write 3 columns: thoughts, feelings, actions. Under each, list how you approach your deepest desire. Notice where discord exists. Where do your thoughts say yes, while your feelings whisper no? Where do your actions contradict your beliefs? Now, on a fresh page, write a new intention that brings all 3 into harmony. Let this be your compass toward alignment. Sit in sacred stillness as you complete this practice. Allow truth to surface without judgment. Perhaps you discover that while your thoughts embrace abundance, your feelings cling to scarcity, or that your actions speak of unworthiness even as your mind affirms your divine right to prosper. These revelations are treasures, for they illuminate the path to wholeness. When writing your new intention, let it resonate through every layer of your being. Speak it aloud, feel its truth in your heart, and let your body respond with peaceful acceptance. This unified intention becomes a beacon, drawing you naturally toward manifestation. For what is aligned within must, by cosmic law, manifest without. Chapter 12. Emotional frequency is the command. In the bustling newsroom of a city paper, Hugh sat at his desk, gripping his red editing pen with growing tension. Though he repeated positive affirmations each morning, his true feelings leaked through every interaction. Headlines that should have inspired hope carried undertones of cynicism. Stories meant to celebrate progress bore the weight of his hidden doubts. You see, the universe responds not to the words you speak, but to the energy you emanate. Hugh's story mirrors a truth you must now embrace. Thought without aligned emotion is like a lamp without oil. It cannot truly illuminate your path. The mirror principle operates through feeling, not thinking. Your emotional state broadcasts a signal far more powerful than any mental declaration. When Hugh told himself, "I am positive," while anger simmered beneath, the universe heard only the anger. It could not be deceived by surface thoughts, for it responds to the deeper current of your being. This is not a call to suppress your authentic feelings or paste a smile over pain. Such attempts at emotional deception only create greater inner discord. Instead, you must understand that emotions are the language of creation. They are not obstacles to overcome, but instruments to tune. One morning, Hugh finally surrendered his struggle against his feelings. He began each day by simply acknowledging his true emotional state without judgment. If frustration arose, he allowed it to teach him where alignment was needed. When joy naturally emerged, he let it flow uninhibited. A remarkable shift followed. The newsroom's energy transformed. Stories found their way to his desk that genuinely moved him. Synchronicities multiplied. His editorials now carried an authentic power that touched readers deeply, not because he forced positivity, but because he had learned to honor his emotional guidance system. This truth stands eternal. Emotion is the clay from which manifestation is molded. Your feelings are not random reactions. They are sacred messengers pointing the way to alignment or revealing where it is lacking. Practice the emotional attunement ritual. Each day, pause 3 times, morning, noon, and evening. Place your hand upon your heart and ask, "What am I truly feeling in this moment?" Let the answer arise without judgment. Note the emotion in a small journal, tracking how your vibrational signature shifts throughout your days. This is not to change your feelings, but to become conscious of the instructions you are sending to the universe. Through awareness, you gain the power to choose your emotional tone with intention. Chapter 13. Conscious creation begins within. In the hushed corridors of an ancient library, Ruth moved between towering shelves, her footsteps echoing the same pattern they had traced for 20 years. Each morning, she would whisper to herself, "This is my fate," as she organized volumes that seemed to hold more life than her own existence. You must understand this vital truth. Ruth's story is not unique. It is a reflection of the inner narrative many carry within. Like her, you may have assigned authorship of your life to an external force called fate, destiny, or circumstance. Yet the mirror principle reveals a deeper truth. You are the author of your experience, penning each chapter through your inner state. The universe does not write your story. It merely prints what you have composed within. Every thought you hold, every emotion you nurture, every belief you embrace, becomes a line in the manuscript of your life. The outer world cannot help but reflect the story you tell yourself. One day, while reshelving books in the metaphysical section, Ruth discovered a leather-bound volume that seemed to glow with its own light. As she opened its chapters, she recognized her own life written between the lines, not as it was, but as it could be. In that moment, she understood. She had been reading her life backward, believing circumstances wrote her story, when in truth, her story created her circumstances. The mirror principle operates with perfect precision. It must reflect the narrative you hold within. If you believe you are bound by fate, the mirror will show you evidence of your bondage. If you know yourself as the author, it will reflect back your creative power. Ruth began to edit her inner manuscript. Where she had written "stuck," she now wrote "growing." When lonely appeared, she penned "preparing for connection." Her library became not a prison of routine, but a sanctuary of transformation. Soon, patrons noticed a change, not just in her, but in the very atmosphere of the building. New opportunities appeared, as if by magic, though there was no magic involved, only the perfect operation of the mirror principle. This truth stands before you now. You are not a character trapped in someone else's story. You are the author, the narrator, the creator of your experience. The mirror principle simply ensures that what you write within must manifest without. Exercise. Take your journal and write the current chapter of your life as you perceive it. Then, on a fresh page, rewrite that same chapter from the perspective of the empowered author you truly are. Notice how your energy shifts as you reclaim your role as creator. For 7 days, read your new chapter each morning, feeling its truth in your bones. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Universe Doesn't Speak, It Reflects. In a small chapel among rolling hills, Otis stood at his wooden pulpit, his voice rising and falling like waves against an unyielding shore. Each Sunday, he would proclaim prosperity and abundance for his congregation, yet his own life remained untouched by the very blessings he spoke of. You are now encountering one of the most subtle aspects of the mirror principle, the difference between what your lips declare and what you're being broadcast. Words alone cannot command the mirror of life. They must carry the weight of your complete vibrational agreement. When you speak of abundance while harboring scarcity consciousness, the universe responds not to your words, but to your inner truth. This is why empty affirmations fall flat against the mirror of reality. Your vibrational signature, the sum total of your beliefs, emotions, and expectations, is your true prayer. In the depths of one sleepless night, Otis knelt in his empty chapel, his rehearsed prayers suddenly falling silent. In that sacred stillness, he felt the discord between his spoken faith and his hidden doubts. It was then he understood. His words were merely echoing in an empty room while his deeper beliefs were shaping his reality. The mirror principle cannot be deceived. It reflects with perfect accuracy the frequency you emanate, not the one you pretend to hold. As Otis learned to align his inner knowing with his outer declarations, his ministry transformed. His words now carried the unmistakable resonance of lived truth, and the mirror of life responded in kind. Let this truth sink deeply into your awareness. Your real prayer is not what you say, it is what you vibrate. The universe hears your energy, not your vocabulary. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you will remain undisturbed, a sanctuary where your inner truth can emerge unhindered. Close your eyes and choose one desire you've been speaking of but not experiencing. Rather than declaring it with words, simply allow yourself to feel the essence of its fulfillment. Let this feeling saturate your being until it becomes more real than any spoken prayer. Feel it in every cell, every breath, every heartbeat. Notice how this pure vibration differs from mere words. It resonates at a deeper level, touching the very fabric of creation. Maintain this vibration in silence for several minutes, knowing that this emotional frequency is your true communication with the universe. As you practice this sacred attunement, you will discover that your energy speaks volumes more than your tongue ever could. In this profound silence, you are engaging in the most powerful prayer of all, the prayer of pure being. Chapter 15. Instant Alignment, Delayed Reflection. In the fertile valley of her father's farm, Beatrice watched the barren fields with growing impatience. Though she had shifted her inner state from doubt to certainty, the earth seemed deaf to her newfound faith. Each morning she would walk the empty rows, her transformed consciousness at odds with the unchanged reality before her. You now approach a vital truth of the mirror principle, the law of divine timing. When you alter your vibration, the universe responds instantly in the unseen realm. Yet manifestation, like a seed beneath the soil, follows natural law in its journey to visible form. The mirror principle operates with perfect precision, but it does not always match human timing. Your task is not to force the reflection, but to maintain the clarity of your signal. The gap between vibrational shift and physical manifestation tests not the law, but your trust in it. In the depths of winter, while others questioned her optimism, Beatrice continued tending to her inner garden of belief. She understood that doubt would only lengthen the delay. Then, as spring approached, opportunity arrived, not in the form she expected, but as an invitation to manage the region's most prosperous orchard. Her steadfast vibration had drawn forth abundance through an unexpected channel. This reveals another layer of the mirror principle. The universe often delivers through pathways beyond your imagination. Your role is to hold the frequency of what you desire, while remaining open to how it manifests. The mirror always reflects truth, but rarely in the way you predict. To help you maintain unwavering faith during this sacred interval, practice this ancient patience mantra 3 times daily. Divine timing flows through all things. I trust the perfect unfolding. Follow this with a 3-minute visualization. See yourself standing before a mirror that stretches to infinity. Watch as ripples of your shifted consciousness move outward, touching and transforming everything in their path. Feel the absolute certainty that your inner change is already complete, and its outer reflection is in motion. This practice serves as an anchor for your consciousness during the gap between vibration and manifestation. It reminds you that what appears as delay is actually divine orchestration, each moment perfectly aligned with the cosmic forces that shape reality. The mirror never fails. It simply operates on a schedule beyond human understanding, moving with an intelligence far greater than mortal minds can comprehend. Trust that your reflection is already changing even when your physical eyes cannot yet perceive the transformation taking place in the ethereal realms. Chapter 16. Dissolving the Old Image. In the shadows of an abandoned gymnasium, Elmer stood before a cracked mirror, his weathered reflection fractured by the damage. Each morning he would trace the old scars on his face, remembering every defeat, every fall, every moment that had carved failure into his identity. The mirror, faithful to its nature, reflected back not just his physical form, but the weight of his chosen story. You must understand this fundamental truth. The mirror principle cannot show you what you refuse to release. When you grip tightly to an old identity, you command the universe to maintain its reflection. Your past experiences, however real, become prison bars only when you insist on defining yourself through them. The universe knows nothing of your history. It responds only to your present vibration. Yet if you carry yesterday's wounds as today's identity, you force the mirror to reproduce ancient patterns. This is not punishment, but perfect law. The mirror must show you what you hold within. Watch now as Elmer faces his reflection one final time. In a moment of grace, he sees beyond the scars, beyond the stories. I am not my defeats, he whispers, and something shifts in the air. The identity he had worn like armor begins to dissolve. As he releases his grip on failure, new possibilities ripple through his field of consciousness. Within weeks, life responds to his transformed vibration. A youth center seeks his guidance. Children look up to him not as a failed boxer, but as a mentor who understands both falling and rising. The mirror, freed from old instructions, reflects back his new chosen truth. You see, identity is not a prison sentence, it is a choice made moment by moment. When you release an outdated self-image, you do not lose power, you reclaim it. The universe awaits your new instructions with infinite patience and perfect neutrality. Sacred practice. In sacred solitude, write upon a piece of paper an identity that no longer serves your highest expression. Perhaps a role, a belief, or a story about yourself that has become a prison rather than a path. Light a candle or imagine a sacred flame before you, allowing its warm glow to illuminate this moment of transformation. Hold the paper in both hands, feeling the weight of what you are about to release, and speak these words with quiet authority. I release this identity back to the infinite. It has served its purpose, and I choose again. Then burn the paper or visualize it dissolving into light, and feel the energetic space this creates within you, a void of infinite possibility awaiting your new choices. Sit in stillness as the old identity transforms to ash, knowing that just as the phoenix rises renewed, you too are reborn in this moment of conscious release. Let the mirror of life reflect your renewed clarity. for you have created space for a higher expression of your divine nature to emerge. Chapter 17. Feeling is the Master Key. In a small corner shop filled with withered flowers, Louisa stood surrounded by vision boards and business plans. Each morning she would study pictures of her dream flower shop, trying to force the images into reality through sheer mental effort. Yet her current shop remained empty, her dreams as lifeless as the dried petals at her feet. You must grasp this vital truth. Visualization alone is but a shadow of true creative power. The universe responds not to pictures in your mind, but to the feeling tone of your being. When you merely think of what you desire, you remain separate from it. But when you feel its reality within your heart, you become one with it in consciousness. The mirror principle operates through emotional resonance. Your feelings are the language the universe understands with perfect clarity. They are not passive responses to life. They are creative instructions that shape your reality. When you master the art of feeling your desire as already fulfilled, you activate forces beyond human comprehension. Observe how Louisa's world transformed when she shifted from mental pictures to emotional reality. One morning, instead of staring at vision boards, she closed her eyes and allowed herself to feel the joy of running her dream shop. She breathed in the fragrance of fresh flowers, felt the satisfaction of creating beautiful arrangements, and experienced the gratitude of delighted customers. She lived in that feeling state, as if her dream had already manifested. Within days, synchronicities began to appear. A prime location became available at exactly the right price. Suppliers offered unexpected partnerships. Customers started flowing in, drawn by something they couldn't explain, the invisible but palpable energy of fulfilled desire that Louisa now emanated. The mirror had no choice but to reflect back what she held within. It wasn't her visualization that created this shift. It was her emotional embodiment of the end result. The universe simply matched her inner feeling state with corresponding outer circumstances. Sacred practice. Each morning before the world awakens, sit in perfect stillness. Choose one desire and set aside all thoughts of how or when. Close your eyes and step into the feeling of that desire already fulfilled. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the peace of having what you seek. Let this feeling saturate every cell of your being for 5 full minutes. You are not pretending. You are tuning your emotional frequency to the reality you wish to experience. The mirror of life must reflect back what you feel to be true. Chapter 18. You are always creating. In a dimly lit concert hall, Wallace sat at the piano, his fingers moving through the same scales he had practiced for 30 years. Each morning held the same rhythm. Wake at 7, practice till noon, teach students till evening. He lived as though life happened to him, never realizing he was its composer. You are always creating, whether conscious of it or not. Your thoughts, like notes played on an infinite instrument, echo through the universe without pause. The mirror principle operates ceaselessly, reflecting back the symphony or the discord of your inner state. Every idle thought, each habitual feeling, becomes a thread in the tapestry of your experience. The universe does not discriminate between conscious and unconscious creation. It simply reflects, with perfect fidelity, the sum total of your vibrational output. Wallace's awakening came quietly. One afternoon, between lessons, he noticed how his resigned acceptance of "this is just how things are" had shaped every aspect of his life. His apartment, his schedule, his relationships, all bore the exact signature of his passive thoughts. That day, he began making subtle shifts. Instead of mechanically practicing scales, he infused each note with intentional joy. Rather than accepting his teaching schedule as fixed, he allowed himself to imagine new possibilities. He stopped thinking, "This is all there is," and started thinking, "What else might be possible?" The mirror responded swiftly. A student mentioned an opportunity to perform at an exclusive venue. A colleague invited him to collaborate on an innovative music project. His routine, once a prison, became a launching pad for expansion. Watch your thoughts with the same attention a musician gives to their instrument. Your mind is always playing something. What melody have you been offering to the universe? Your current circumstances are not a sentence. They are a reflection of the thoughts you have practiced most consistently. For the next 24 hours, become the conscious observer of your mental and emotional broadcasts. Notice each thought that crosses your mind, each feeling that colors your hour. Write them down. Ask yourself, if the mirror principle is constant, what might these broadcasts be creating in my life? This is not an exercise in judgment, but in awakening. You are not here to perfect your thoughts, but to become aware of their creative power. Track your dominant frequencies. "I never have enough time" becomes "time flows abundantly through my life." "Things are always difficult" transforms into "life supports my growth with grace." Remember, the mirror simply reflects. It does not judge, resist, or choose. It shows you exactly what you have been broadcasting, whether you meant to or not. Chapter 19. The Mirror Responds to Certainty. In the bustling halls of St. Michael's Hospital, Gloria rushed between patients, her prayers a constant whisper of desperate hope. "Please let me find a better position. Please let me escape these endless night shifts." Yet the more she begged, the more firmly anchored she became in her unwanted circumstances. You must understand this eternal truth. The universe responds not to volume, but to vibration. When you plead, you broadcast lack. When you beg, you amplify absence. The mirror principle cannot help but reflect back the energy you emit. Certainty is the highest frequency of creation. It requires no external validation, no physical evidence, no repeated affirmation. It simply is. When you stand in quiet knowing, the mirror of life clarifies instantly, showing you exactly what you know to be true. Gloria's transformation began the moment she stopped asking and started knowing. Her prayers shifted from "please help me" to "I am divinely guided." She no longer sought escape from night shifts, but knew her perfect position was already secured. Her certainty became a beacon, cutting through the fog of doubt. Within days, synchronicities appeared. A conversation with a visiting doctor revealed an opening in the pediatric ward, day shifts, better pay, more fulfilling work. The position had not been advertised. It simply aligned with her newfound certainty. The mirror principle responds to your dominant vibration with mathematical precision. Doubt creates static in the reflection. Certainty creates clarity. Your task is not to convince the universe of your worthiness or readiness. Your task is to stand unwaveringly in the knowing that what you desire already exists. Take a moment now. Find a quiet space where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Allow your mind to settle into perfect stillness. Now choose one desire, something you have been hoping for, waiting for, praying for. Instead of reaching for it in your mind, settle into the absolute knowing that it is already yours. Repeat silently, "It is done. I already have it. It is finished." Feel the completeness, the certainty, the absolute knowing in every cell of your being. This is not an exercise in positive thinking. It is an alignment with truth. Stay in this state for as long as it takes to feel the shift from seeking to knowing. The mirror of life awaits your clearest reflection. What will you broadcast with certainty today? Chapter 20. When you align, the world bends. Every morning, Stanley gripped his steering wheel with tension, bracing himself for another day of difficult passengers and traffic snarls. His route through the city felt like a metaphor for his life. Stuck in endless cycles, dealing with the same challenges day after day. Yet in his darkest moment, he stumbled upon an ancient truth that would transform everything. The universe operates through resonance, not resistance. When you fight against life, life fights back. When you flow with inner peace, the outer world flows with you. This is not philosophy. It is physics at its most mystical level. Stanley's awakening began quietly. Instead of steeling himself against the day, he started his mornings in silence, breathing in acceptance, breathing out resistance. He stopped seeing himself as a victim of circumstance and began viewing himself as a conductor of energy. The shift was subtle at first, then undeniable. Traffic lights turned green as he approached. Difficult passengers became pleasant or found different routes. His supervisor, known for harsh criticism, began praising his work. He wasn't trying harder, he was simply being different. This is the hidden power of the mirror principle. When you change your inner state, the outer world must change to match it. There is no other option. The universe cannot reflect what you are not, and must reflect what you are. Watch Stanley now as he drives his route with quiet joy. His bus has become a vessel of peace, attracting passengers who match his frequency. Problems that once seemed permanent have dissolved without effort. He has become what ancient mystics called a living magnet, one whose inner harmony naturally draws harmony from the world. You see, the mirror principle is not about forcing change. It is about becoming the change you seek. When you shift from resistance to acceptance, from tension to peace, from fear to trust, the entire matrix of reality must shift to mirror your new state. Morning alignment practice. Find stillness before dawn. Close your eyes and feel yourself as pure consciousness, free from all labels and limitations. Ask yourself, if the world reflects me, who do I choose to be today? Let the answer arise not from thought, but from the depths of your being. Write it down, not as a hope or wish, but as a declaration of what is already true. Carry this truth with you, knowing the mirror of life must reflect it back. Part 3. Mastering the Mirror. Chapter 21. Becoming the Architect. In a sunlit room filled with dusty architectural drawings, Henrietta sat surrounded by the blueprints of her life's work. Each design had once sprung from her imagination into solid form, yet she never saw the parallel between her craft and her existence until now. The universe operates through precise architectural principles. Just as every building begins as a thought translated into a blueprint, your reality stems from the inner designs you hold. You are not merely inhabiting your life, you are architecting it. What you have viewed as circumstance is actually construction. The mirror principle reveals that your inner blueprint, your beliefs, expectations, and self-image, forms the foundation upon which your outer world builds itself. Nothing manifests without first existing as an internal design. Look deeper into your current reality. Every relationship, every circumstance, every recurring pattern reflects a blueprint you have consciously or unconsciously approved. The universe is not random. It is mathematical in its mirroring, exact in its reflection of your inner architecture. Henrietta discovered this truth when she noticed how her meticulous attention to detail in her designs was reflected in her perfectly ordered life. while her rigid adherence to rules had created walls where windows could have been. In that moment of recognition, she understood. She had been the architect all along. With this awakening, she began to draft new internal plans. Instead of reinforcing old structures of limitation, she designed spaces for possibility. Where she once drew boundaries, she now sketched openings. Her inner revisions were subtle but intentional, and the universe, that faithful builder, began to manifest her new blueprint. The mirror principle becomes a conscious tool when you understand that you are not waiting for life to happen, you are drawing it into being. Every thought is a line on the blueprint, every belief a foundation stone, every emotion a color in the final design. Sacred practice, the blueprint of being. Take a blank page and become the architect of your inner world. Draw or write the specifications of your ideal state of being. Detail not what you want to have, but who you choose to be. What qualities form your foundation? What emotions color your spaces? What beliefs create your structures? Remember, this is not a wish list, but a working blueprint. The universe will build exactly what you design. Draw with intention, for you are creating the template from which your reality will be constructed. Chapter 22. Speak and the mirror obeys. In a dimly lit workshop where time seemed to pause, Raymond sat among his collection of timepieces, each tick marking moments of silence he had maintained for years. The watches before him kept perfect time, yet his own voice had remained still, his desires unspoken, his dreams locked within. You must understand that speech carries power beyond mere communication. When you speak with the full force of your being, when your words emerge from the depths of knowing rather than the shallows of wishing, the universe cannot help but respond. This is not the idle chatter of daily life, but the sacred act of declaration. Raymond discovered this truth when he first dared to voice his aspirations. "I am a master of my craft," he spoke softly, but with unwavering certainty. The words hung in the air like visible breath on a cold morning, and something shifted in the workshop's atmosphere. It was not the volume of his voice that commanded attention, but the resonance of truth within it. The mirror principle responds to spoken word when three elements align: belief in your bones, emotion in your heart, and clarity in your mind. Your words must emerge from this trinity of power. Empty phrases bounce off the mirror of creation, but words infused with the full spectrum of your being become divine instruction. As Raymond continued his practice of intentional speech, his reputation grew without effort. Clients sought him out, speaking of being drawn to his shop by an inexplicable force. His repairs became not just mechanical fixes, but acts of restoration that seemed to transcend the mere physical. He had learned to speak not from desire, but from the quiet center of already having. This is the ancient wisdom. Speak as though it is done, not as one who begs, but as one who knows. Let your words carry the weight of completion, the certainty of manifestation already achieved. Sacred practice. Stand before a mirror at sunrise or sunset. Speak these words with the full authority of your being, feeling them resonate through every cell. I am. State your desire in present tense. This is my truth now. It is done. Repeat this declaration daily, not as a plea to the future, but as a recognition of what already is. Remember, the universe does not hear volume, it hears vibration. Speak from that place where doubt cannot exist, where your word and your truth are one. This is not manifestation through force, but creation through alignment. Chapter 23, Conclusion: Living as If. In a small atelier tucked away on a winding street, Celia sat at her workbench, surrounded by fabrics that whispered of possibility. Each morning, she had dressed in simple cotton, believing luxury belonged to a future self. Yet something stirred within her soul, a knowing that transcended time. You see, the mirror principle operates in the eternal now. It knows nothing of tomorrow, nothing of someday. It reflects only what is present in your vibration at this moment. When you live in the energy of what you desire, you command the mirror to show you more of the same. Celia began wearing her finest clothes while working alone. She carried herself with the grace of someone who served distinguished clientele. She arranged her workspace as though it were already a prestigious boutique. This was not pretense. It was energetic truth-telling. She was not playing at success. She was embodying it. The universe responds not to your hopes for tomorrow, but to your embodiment today. When you shift your energy to match your vision, you create a vibrational template that reality must follow. This is the deeper meaning of fake it till you make it, though nothing about it is fake. It is instead a profound alignment with what you know to be true on the soul level. As weeks passed, Celia noticed subtle shifts. Clients of increasing prominence found their way to her door. Opportunities arose that matched her elevated way of being. She had not changed her skills. She had changed her signal to the universe. One afternoon, a renowned designer entered her shop, drawn by what she would later describe as an unmistakable air of excellence. She found Celia working with the poise and confidence of someone who had already achieved greatness. The collaboration that followed seemed predestined, because vibrationally it was. This is not about pretending or forcing. It is about energetically preparing the field for what you know is yours. The universe cannot distinguish between what you are rehearsing and what you are experiencing. It simply matches your dominant frequency. Sacred practice. For the next 7 days, choose one aspect of your desired reality and live it fully. If you seek abundance, carry yourself with the quiet confidence of wealth. If you seek love, move through your day as someone deeply cherished. If you seek recognition, speak with the authority of one whose voice matters. Each morning, ask yourself, how would I move through this day if my desire were already fulfilled? Then live your answer with unwavering commitment. The mirror will have no choice but to reflect back what you embody. Chapter 24. The Silence Before the Shift. In a small study lined with unfinished manuscripts, Patrick sat before his desk each morning, feeling the strange emptiness that follows revelation. Though his inner world had shifted dramatically, the outer remained unchanged. His writing still garnered no recognition. His letters to publishers went unanswered, and his daily routine appeared untouched by the profound awakening he had experienced. You now approach one of the most sacred aspects of the mirror principle, the divine pause between inner shift and outer manifestation. This space of apparent stillness holds tremendous power, though the untrained eye may mistake it for inaction. When you alter your inner state, the universe begins its work immediately, yet there exists a holy interval as energy crystallizes into form. Think of a seed planted in rich soil. Though invisible to the eye, an entire universe of activity unfolds beneath the surface before the first green shoot appears. Your consciousness is this soil, and your shifted state is the seed. The mirror principle responds instantly to your inner transformation, but its reflection may take time to emerge in the physical realm. Patrick continued his writing practice, maintaining the energy of his breakthrough even when evidence seemed lacking. He wrote as though his words already touched millions, spoke as though his voice carried weight, and moved through his days carrying the quiet dignity of his realized vision. The mirror had heard his signal. Now came the sacred task of trusting its process. Then, without warning or fanfare, the shift materialized. A respected editor reached out, having discovered Patrick's work through an unexpected channel. Speaking engagements emerged, each perfectly aligned with his deepest message. His words found their way to those who needed them most, creating ripples of transformation he had only dreamed possible. This truth stands eternal. The universe never ignores your signal. What appears as delay is actually divine timing. What feels like silence is the sound of creation at work. Your task is not to force the mirror's reflection, but to maintain your frequency with unwavering faith. Practice. Find a quiet space each day where you can sit undisturbed for 15 minutes. Close your eyes and attune yourself to the subtle movements of transformation within. Notice the small shifts in your energy, the quiet certainty that grows beneath the surface, the gentle stirrings of change taking form. Do not strain to make anything happen. Simply witness the sacred process of becoming. Your role is to hold steady in your knowing while the universe arranges its perfect reflection. Chapter 25, Your Reality is Sacred Feedback. In a small village where life began anew each day, Maud attended the births of countless children. Her gentle hands and steady presence helped usher new souls into the world, yet her own dreams remained locked in an endless labor. Each morning, she watched other women's joy unfold while her desires stayed trapped in the realm of someday. You now encounter a sacred truth of the mirror principle. What appears as an obstacle is actually an oracle. The universe speaks not through coincidence, but through consistent reflection. When patterns persist, when doors remain closed, when certain experiences repeat, you are receiving divine communication. Maud's awakening came not through striving, but through surrender to wisdom. Just as she guided mothers to trust the birthing process, she began to trust the messages life was showing her. Her struggle to manifest wasn't punishment, it was guidance. The mirror was revealing where she still carried doubt, where she resisted flow, where she needed to soften and allow. The mirror never lies, never judges, and never errs. It simply shows you where you are, with perfect precision. What you perceive as problems are actually prompts from the divine, showing you exactly what needs to shift within. Every challenge contains a message, every setback holds a secret, every no points toward a deeper yes. One quiet evening, as Maud sat with this truth, everything changed. Instead of fighting her reality, she began reading it. Her unfulfilled dreams were showing her where she still doubted her worthiness. Her helping others birth their visions while neglecting her own revealed a pattern of self-sacrifice. The mirror was speaking, and now she was listening. As Maud aligned with these messages, her outer world transformed with stunning speed. Opportunities arose that matched her authentic desires. Resources appeared that supported her vision. The very resistance that once blocked her became the roadmap to her transformation. Practice. Take 3 areas of your life that feel challenging or stuck, those situations that seem to resist all your efforts at change. In sacred silence, create a space of deep listening and ask each challenge, what are you showing me about myself? Write down the first insights that arise, without judgment or analysis. Look for patterns. Examine where these reflections point to inner misalignment or unconscious beliefs. Notice how certain themes may repeat across different areas of your life. Remember, the mirror isn't punishing you. It's guiding you home to your truth. Each obstacle carries within it a seed of self-knowledge waiting to bloom. Sit with each message, until you feel its wisdom in your bones, until the truth resonates at the deepest level of your being. This is not about fixing, it's about understanding. There is no need to force change or rush to solutions. Let the mirror teach you what you're ready to learn, revealing each insight in perfect divine timing. Trust that as you embrace these reflections, transformation will unfold naturally and effortlessly. Chapter 26, Expectation is a Spiritual Force. In a small coastal town, Howard walked his mail route each morning with shoulders tensed and eyes scanning for problems. His bag felt heavy with more than letters. It carried the weight of his expectations. Each day he anticipated angry dogs, hostile residents, and missed deliveries. Without fail, the universe mirrored back exactly what he feared. Dogs appeared from nowhere, residents complained, and complications multiplied. You must understand this sacred truth. Expectation is not mere hoping or wishing. It is a divine command to the mirror of life. What you expect becomes your default frequency, the baseline vibration from which all experience flows. The universe does not question your expectations. It simply reflects them with perfect fidelity. When you anticipate trouble, you broadcast the frequency of trouble. When you expect limitation, you transmit the vibration of limitation. The mirror principle must, by its very nature, echo back the dominant expectation you hold. This is not punishment or reward. It is law. Howard's transformation began the moment he realized this truth. Instead of bracing for difficulty, he began expecting synchronicity. Rather than anticipating problems, he looked forward to pleasant surprises. He didn't force false positivity. He simply shifted his baseline expectation to one of grace and ease. The mirror responded instantly. Dogs that once barked now wagged their tails. Residents who had been difficult became friendly. His route began flowing with unexpected moments of joy. The same streets, the same houses, the same people, yet everything reflected his new expectation. Your expectations are not passive hopes. They are active instructions to the field of infinite possibility. The universe cannot help but organize circumstances to match your sustained expectancy. This is the hidden power you now hold, the ability to consciously set your default frequency. Sacred practice, the expectation code. Each morning, before engaging with the world, sit in quiet contemplation. Find a sacred space where you can commune with the infinite intelligence that shapes reality. Write your personal expectation code, a clear statement of what you now choose to expect from life. Begin with these words: I now expect. Let this code become your morning command to the mirror, setting the frequency for your day. Feel each word resonating with divine power as you write. Speak it with the authority of one who knows the law cannot fail to reflect what is deeply expected. Make this declaration with unwavering confidence, for you are not merely hoping or wishing. You are activating an immutable cosmic principle that must respond to your sustained expectation. Let your heart fill with certainty as you craft each phrase, knowing that the universe bends to meet your deepest convictions. Write your code with deliberate intention, allowing each word to vibrate with the power of absolute knowing. This is not an exercise in fantasy, but rather a sacred communion with the infinite intelligence that shapes all reality. As you declare your expectations to the mirror each morning, you are programming the very fabric of creation, instructing it in the precise manner of its unfolding. Remember, the mirror of life cannot help but reflect back the image you hold with unwavering faith. Chapter 27. The universe wants to obey you. In a small mountain village, an herbalist named Irene meticulously measured, weighed, and documented every ingredient. Her hands moved with practiced precision, but her brow remained furrowed with worry. Though her remedies were powerful, she constantly felt the need to prove their worth, and her own. You see, the universe does not require your struggle. It awaits only your alignment to shower you with abundance. When you understand this truth, everything shifts. The divine is not a stern taskmaster demanding perfection, but a loving presence eager to reflect your highest good. The mirror principle reveals that any resistance you experience does not originate from source. The universe has no interest in testing, judging, or withholding from you. When manifestation feels difficult, it is because you are divided within yourself, one part reaching for desire, another part doubting your worthiness to receive it. As Irene worked among her herbs one morning, this wisdom finally settled into her heart. She noticed how effortlessly the plants grew, how naturally they offered their healing properties. They didn't strain or struggle to prove their value, they simply were. In that moment, she released her grip on needing to prove herself. What followed was nothing short of miraculous. Clients began finding her without effort. Her remedies worked with even greater potency. The right herbs appeared just as she needed them. The universe, freed from her resistance, eagerly reflected back the abundance that had always been waiting for her. You too can release the struggle. The universe stands ready to mirror your joy, your peace, your natural state of receiving. It is not your striving that attracts what you desire. It is your alignment with the truth that you are already worthy of receiving it. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed, a sanctuary where you can commune with the infinite wisdom that surrounds you. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, allowing each breath to carry you deeper into a state of pure receptivity. Visualize the universe as a loving presence, actively preparing the manifestation of your aligned desires, working tirelessly on your behalf in ways beyond mortal comprehension. See celestial hands weaving together circumstances, orchestrating meetings, arranging perfect timing. All the intricate threads of creation coming together in divine harmony for your highest good. Feel the eager anticipation of the universe to deliver what you have vibrationally claimed, like a parent joyfully preparing a surprise for a beloved child. Rest in the knowing that what is aligned is already being prepared for you, taking shape in the ethereal realm before manifesting in the physical. Maintain this visualization for several minutes, allowing yourself to fully receive this truth. The universe is not withholding. It is perpetually giving. Let this sacred knowing settle into every cell of your being, dissolving any remaining doubts about your worthiness to receive. Feel the profound peace that comes with surrendering to this divine flow of abundance, knowing that you are eternally supported by forces greater than yourself. Chapter 28. The Mirror of Relationships. In a bustling marketplace, a clock repairman named Cornelius sat at his workbench, his face tightening with frustration as yet another customer complained about his prices. "Everyone's always trying to take advantage," he muttered, polishing a brass timepiece with more force than necessary. You are about to discover one of the most transformative aspects of the mirror principle, one that will forever change how you view every interaction in your life. What Cornelius had yet to realize was that his world was reflecting his deepest beliefs about human nature. Each person who crosses your path serves as a living mirror, revealing what lies dormant within your consciousness. Those who trigger strong emotions are not random encounters. They are precise reflections of energies you have yet to acknowledge within yourself. One morning, as Cornelius prepared to open his shop, he caught his reflection in a clock face and noticed the suspicion in his own eyes. In that moment, understanding dawned. His belief that others were always trying to take advantage had become a self-fulfilling prophecy. The universe, in its perfect mirroring, had been sending him exactly what he expected to see. With this realization, Cornelius began to soften his inner dialogue. Perhaps, he thought, people are simply doing their best, just as I am. As his inner landscape shifted, something remarkable occurred. Customers began approaching with smiles instead of complaints. Negotiations became conversations. Where there had been tension, ease flowed naturally. This mirrors an eternal truth. When you change your inner relationship with yourself, your outer relationships must transform to match. The people in your life are not causing your experience. They are reflecting it. Ancient practice of relationship reflection. Find a quiet moment and open your journal. Think of a relationship that brings up strong emotions. Without judgment, write down the qualities in this person that trigger you most deeply. Now, with gentle honesty, explore where these same qualities might exist within you, perhaps in subtle ways you've overlooked. Remember, the mirror never lies. It only reveals what seeks recognition within. This is not about blame or shame. It is about using each relationship as a gateway to deeper self-understanding. As you write, allow yourself to see how every interaction has been perfectly orchestrated to show you something about yourself that yearns for acknowledgement and healing. Chapter 29. Your Reality Rewritten. In a dimly lit study, a novelist named Edna sat surrounded by manuscripts, each ending in the same way, with loss, with resignation, with quiet defeat. Night after night, she rewrote the final chapters of her stories, yet somehow the protagonist always ended up alone, unfulfilled, waiting for a happiness that never arrived. You are now encountering a vital truth about the mirror principle. Your life follows the script written in your consciousness. What appears as circumstance is merely the outer reflection of your inner story. The universe does not judge your narrative, it simply brings it to life with perfect fidelity. Your beliefs, expectations, and deepest convictions form the plot points of your existence. The mirror must reflect the story you tell yourself most consistently. One evening, as Edna stared at yet another ending tinged with melancholy, something within her stirred. Instead of accepting the familiar narrative, she picked up her pen and began to write a different story, one where the protagonist chose joy, claimed their power, and stepped into abundance. As the words flowed, she felt a shift in her energy, as if she too was being rewritten. In the weeks that followed, Edna witnessed her external world begin to mirror her new narrative. Opportunities appeared as if summoned by her revised script. Relationships transformed, reflecting the worth she had written into her story. Her life became the living embodiment of her reimagined tale. The mirror responds not to what you wish to write, but to what you have already written in the depths of your being. Each thought, each belief, each assumption is a line in your ongoing story. You are not merely the reader of your life, you are its author. Sacred practice. Take a moment now to identify one limiting story that has been playing out in your life. Look deeply into the patterns that have seemed immutable, the self-imposed boundaries that have felt like iron walls. On a fresh page, write a new version, not as fiction, but as present reality. Feel the truth of each word as you write, letting each sentence resonate with the power of your divine creative force. This is not an exercise in imagination. It is an act of spiritual authorship, a declaration to the universe of what is now true. Write in present tense, as if this new story is already unfolding, because in the deeper realms of consciousness it already exists. Infuse every word with the certainty of your being, knowing that as you write, you're not merely describing, but decreeing. The mirror will read your words and reflect them back with perfect accuracy, for it cannot do otherwise when faced with the absolute conviction of your soul's truth. Chapter 30. You are the mirror now. In a small workshop filled with the warm glow of candlelight, Norman crafted each candle with perfect presence. He no longer rushed to finish, no longer worried about sales or success. Each movement flowed from a place of pure being. The flames danced around him, reflecting the inner light he had discovered, the light that needed no external validation. You have arrived at the deepest truth of the mirror principle. The outer world is not something to be conquered or changed. It is simply waiting to align with who you have become. When you embody the truth of your divine nature, reality has no choice but to reflect it. Norman's revelation came not through struggle or force, but through surrender to his own essence. He discovered that peace was not something to achieve, it was his natural state. As he moved through his days, people began to comment on how his presence alone seemed to calm their troubles. His workshop became a sanctuary, not through intention, but through his embodiment of tranquility. The universe mirrors not what you do, but what you are. Norman no longer needed affirmations or techniques. He had become the very presence he once sought to create. Customers who entered his shop agitated would leave serene, not because he tried to change them, but because they naturally aligned with his frequency. You see, the mirror principle was never about changing the reflection. It was about recognizing yourself as the source of the reflection. You are not the seeker trying to influence the mirror. You are the light that the mirror reflects. This is not a truth to be learned, but remembered. Norman's story is your story. As he walked through life, radiating the peace he had discovered within, the world reshaped itself around his presence. Not because he willed it to, but because it could not help but reflect what he had become. Sacred practice. Stand before a mirror each day for 5 minutes, choosing a time when you can be fully present and undisturbed. Look deeply into your own eyes, not with judgment or criticism, but with the knowing gaze of one who recognizes truth. See past the surface reflection to the infinite being gazing back at you, the eternal presence that has always dwelled within. Affirm silently, letting each word resonate through your entire being. I am not seeking reflection. I am the source of all reflection. As I am, so the world becomes. Let this truth settle into your bones, into every cell of your body, until you feel it vibrating with this ancient wisdom. You are not trying to change the mirror. You are recognizing yourself as its source. In this recognition lies the power to transform, not just your perception, but the very fabric of your reality. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. Through these chapters, you have walked an ancient path of remembrance. What began as mere words on paper has crystallized into living truth within you. The mirror principle now flows through your consciousness like breath, natural, constant, alive. You understand now that manifestation is not something you do. It is something you become. The outer world is not a battlefield to conquer, but a canvas awaiting your brushstroke. Every circumstance, every encounter, every moment reflects the artist you have become. Your power lies not in forcing change, but in embodying it. When you shift within, the universe cannot help but follow. This is the sacred law that has guided masters and mystics throughout time. They knew, as you now know, that reality bends to match your inner state with perfect precision. The mirror no longer shows you what you fear or what you lack. It reveals your mastery, your alignment, your divine authority. You have moved beyond merely understanding the mirror principle. You have become one with it. Your presence alone now commands reflection. This wisdom lives in your cells, resonates in your energy field, and speaks through your being. You no longer chase manifestations or struggle with circumstances. You simply are, and in that being, reality reshapes itself accordingly. Let this truth settle deeply within you. You are not seeking change. You are the change. You are not hoping for alignment. You are alignment itself. The mirror waits upon your command, ready to reflect whatever light you choose to embody. As you close these chapters, know that you carry within you the power that sages and seekers have revered throughout the ages. The mirror principle is now your constant companion, your faithful reflection, your eternal truth. If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.